Howdy everyone, Nimby here. Today we're going to be tying a Dave's hopper. This was originally tied by Dave Whitlock. It's a pretty intricate little pattern. Going to start off at the 1/3 mark here. And we're going to be using camel colored thread today. This is a Uni 6/0. Yep, Uni 6/0 and camel. Hey Rob, good to see you, man. You'll like this one. This is a pretty intricate pattern. Good to see you, was. Thanks for dropping in last night, both of you, even if it was a quick one. So we're just going to bring our thread all the way down. Right to the barb, so just a couple more taps here. Okay, there we are. Hey Luca, you'll like this one too. So this is a very traditional, it's like a vintage style hopper. You can make a gob of changes to this to modernize it if you want to. We're going to go and tie this the traditional way. I'll go over the different changes you can make if you want to make it a bit more modern. Our first piece tying is going to be some bright red deer body here. You can also use bucktail if you got red bucktail. Just looking for a red floatant That's okay. I was kind of falling asleep at the end there, Val, so don't feel so bad. It's all good, man. Okay, so we don't need a whole lot. We're just making a tail on this, so this is probably more than I need, but we're gonna clean it out and shred it off here. So if you don't want to have, or if you don't have, or slash don't want to have bucktail, like if you were tying this pattern in some kind of bulk. Hey wee man, good to have you in, man. If you're tying this in more of a bulk pattern, and or you just don't have red deer hair, that's fine. You can just use a little shock of red, like this will work fine. Just a little bit of red yarn out the back will do just fine. But the traditional pattern calls for red deer hair, so that's what we're going to be using. And I probably got double what I need here, but we'll see how well this cleans out. So we don't need a lot, we just want a red shuck going back. And it's just really an attractant portion of the hopper, because hoppers don't have tails, or red ones for that matter. So I'm probably gonna, well, we'll see how it cleans out the rest of it. I got a little bit much there, I'm gonna have to separate it a little bit. No worries. Thankfully no work today, that's my thing tomorrow. Yeah. It's all good. I know it's hard to say hi to everyone when you get a good amount of people in the chat. It's a lot of times it's easier just to say hey everyone. But I do appreciate everyone trying to be personalized. We have a good group of people. And I like trying to say hi to everyone when I can. But I understand the struggle is real. So this one's going to take a little while to get one of these done up. Another reason you would make some modifications with some more modern materials. That, and you probably have like you probably have a lot of the substitutes for this kicking around in the modern form, so don't feel bad. Oh, cool. You doing some deer hair then? Isn't that weird? Like sometimes you'll get a hand or a finger injury and it'll hurt more than like cutting your own foot off or something. It's just like, oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's probably twice as much as we need. Yeah, it's awesome. It really is. I have to admit. Okay, so I'm gonna split this. We're gonna do about half of what I got here because it's just too much. Shaving does take a while. It's. I'd like to find me some synthetic bucktail to play with. I haven't actually used it before. Yeah, shaving's one of those things that can be really relaxing or extremely stressful. One or the other. So we got about half of this now. I'm not looking for like a big tail, just like that's about all I'm looking for. And we don't want it to go too far either. I want it just to be a little bit past the hook gap, so you can see it's just sticking down past the hook there. So that's where we're going to tie it in. I'm just going to lightly tie that on top. Get another light wrap here. Yeah, shots can do that. You figure they wouldn't, but they can. So the main goal here is just to keep this on top of the hook. And I want it to flare out a little bit, but not too much. So I'm going to start going. Oh, that's a good idea. I should add that to my next team order to try some. Because sometimes there's certain patterns I'd like to do, but it would just take so much deer hair to do that it's not that it wouldn't be worth it, but like. Wow, Muddy, you got them all in there. Okay, so we're going to try and tie this back if this deer hair is going to be nice. I want to tie this back to that 1/3 point. Just to add a little bit of bulk to the body. I think I went a little too far there. Let's check this here. That 1/3. That's why it's good to start your marker at that point so you can find it. Oh, dude. Yeah, it's like, you got a lot of nerve endings there, so don't feel bad, man. I broke one of my toes really bad once in Aikido practice, and we were just throwing each other around and everything, and my toe went in one of the cracks in the mats. We don't normally use mats all that often, but we were that day, and my body went one way and my toes stayed facing the other way, and it was just like, bent the opposite direction it should be. And my sensei comes over and looks at it, and he goes, "Farthest point from your heart, you cannot die. You'll be fine." But oh man, did that hurt for a long time. Just like walking sucked. And he's right, I didn't die, but man, did it ever hurt. Oh yeah, you were telling me about that. I'm sorry about all that delivery problems. They're really bad up here sometimes. They'll deliver like not even on the correct street and just drop it off. Although given I do kind of live out in the bush. He was having some delivery problems. Okay, so we got our tail tied in. Again, we just want like a little red shuck coming out the back. Nothing terribly crazy. I do want to get rid of all these fluffs here though, because I don't want them sticking through. I don't want them sticking through the body material. The body material, the original for this one, calls for a yellow yarn that's tightly packed, and I don't really have the correct color of yarn, and I typically, when I tie this one, I like to use Fentex, so I'm using Fentex for the body. That's the only kind of adjustment I'm going to make. But this is the color yarn that you're looking for, just this real pale yellow, and this stuff works awesome. It's also extremely floating, so it actually works better than the yarn. So that's the only kind of semi-modern adjustment I'm going to be making to this pattern. One kind of nice thing about like if you can't get to Temu and stuff, a lot of times there's so many resellers in the States especially. You can find it all over the place. That's true. My problem is I live so far away from town, it's like an hour drive just to get anywhere. So it's like a 2-hour drive just to pick something up, which costs me way more in gas than shipping would. Yeah, it is a nice off yellow. That's why I like it for this pattern too. You're looking for like anything between this and like a haystack, kind of hay color. And again, we want to tie this in right at that 1/3 mark. And we want to try, because we're going to be spinning hair here, I want to leave this completely bare if I can. But we're going to be doing a deer hair head on it. Okay, this has a kind of interesting little deal right here that we're going to do right now. I'm just going to get this tied in. Okay, so the first part that we're going to do is actually a lump. I generally like to wrap it around something that's a little thicker, so like something about this thick, which is probably twice as thick. Oh no. Wow. You can see this one's about twice as thick as my bodkin, so yeah. Which is crazy because, like I said, it's like sometimes those can hurt more than more than anything. You got so many nerve endings there. But what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to make a loop, and having a bar through it like this will help get it to the right size. And then just a soft wrap down to hold it, and then I'll try and get it tied in here. Okay, I'm not familiar with them. Must be an American company though. Which is fine, obviously. There, so you just want to leave like a little round puff off the back. Fur is awesome because there's so many uses for it. And it just feels good tying with, in my opinion. Okay, so we got that tied in. Try not to fray this on the body too bad. Get it back. You can also use chenille on this too. It's going to have some pretty big segmentations. Chenille works just fine. Before I use the Fentex with it, I would use like a light yellow chenille. Okay, and then the next part we're going to tie in is some leftover hackle butt. So we start off with a feather like this, and you want to have that color transition down to the bottom where you get the gray. So you can either use a red, some people will use a grizzly as well. what you want to do though is you want to take your scissors, and I prepped a few of these because it takes a while. So you want to cut the hackle. So you can see I've trimmed it all the way down and left the white fluff on the bottom. And I might not actually make it to the white fluff, but if I do, great. That little color change right before you get to the thorax looks really nice. So we're going to tie that in. So as far as how, let's see, use bodkin here as a reference. So it's roughly about like the width of my bodkin end, or should be about half the gap height. So yeah, about half the gap height there. It's about as far as you want it. Never. Not possible. And I'm just going to tie it in with the fuzzy bit here. I'm not going to wrap this for the first, say, 2 wraps or so that this is going to go on. So this is going to be just after the first kind of 2 wraps that are going to hold it in. So just after that butt piece. So we're looking at like in between the point and the barb there for tying. So this fly has a lot of like little things like that just take up a good amount of time to do. And I'm just gonna twist this a bit so we get like a cord, because I want this body to be segmented, but I don't want it to be too tight. So just enough so that it cords up. You can see that it's cording up, but I don't want it to be super tight, like a rope tight. Oh, I found some more of my root beer cactus chenille we were talking about last night, like right after the stream. For whatever reason, it was in my turkey quills. I don't know what it was doing over there, but that's where it was. That's cool. Beaver is like a magical, it's almost like, it sounds like Johnny Cash, but no, it's some kind of knockoff that's YouTube approved. Hopefully. Came from the YouTube library. But it does sound a bit like Johnny Cash, doesn't it? Okay, so that's what we want. We want this kind of loose, segmented body wrap going up here. And I am going to use my rotary because it's working out well. Like that. And again, we want to end it. There you go. Got it. I need to actually set up a little store with some goody little junk for you guys to buy. Now the end here where you're tying off isn't super important because it's all going to get hidden with an overwing and underwing and everything, so I'm sure it's a pretty classic like Western gig, but it doesn't hit the yeah, like one small square of beaver will last you like so long, especially if you're making dubbing out of it. Takes forever to use up beaver hide. Okay, so we'll save this one for the next. Should be enough, I think. So we'll find out, won't we? So I did prep a lot of the feathers for this fly ahead of time because there's a lot of prep work for this fly. Just so you guys aren't sitting there waiting. But you'll have to wait for the second one. Okay, so I'm just bringing that up a bit so I got a little bit more of a ledge there to tie the overwings and stuff onto. I'm going to be taking this hackle now. What I want to do is I want to follow. Just going to do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want to follow that wrap, or that segmentation that we put in. Just like so. feel like I'm missing one. Hold on. Well, that does look really good though, doesn't it? No, that's better. I didn't quite make it. I do like to have that slight gray kind of color change in on that last wrap, but that's okay. It'll be fine. Really close though. So this is a great thing to use up your old hackle clip-offs from. Oh, tell me about it. I know editing is just like the bane of everything. It's really hard to get. I mean, even all the professional YouTubers out there struggle with keeping ahead of things. So don't feel bad. It happens to all of us. I'm just gonna bend this back a bit, just to weaken that rachis a little, and then clip it off. Oh, does he have like for like twisting dubbing up in a loop, or like for doing like bait fish and stuff? I don't have mine anymore. I gotta make me a new one. Oh, totally. It's a full-time job. I spend more time editing than I do actually making the video or doing anything else. The live streams are nice. Okay, so there we go. We got the funky little body. Again, this is going to be a hopper. Got his little poofy butt there and his little tail. Actually quite happy with how that's turned out so far. Okay, so the next cool part. You guys will like this. So you start off with some grizzly hackle. Again, I just saved my hackle tips from other hackle that I did for dry flies. And you want to pull the hackle back like so it's all standing out. And then you want to cut the hackle just like we did on that body wrap, but in this case what we're doing is we're actually tying a knot in it. So this is going to be our hopper leg. We'll have two of them. This is the old school way of doing a hopper leg. Of course, the more modern one is just to use rubber legs and tying a knot in that. So if you have rubber legs, but don't these look cool? And of course we got a left and a right one. So you can see that they have a slight inner curve to them. So one's a left and one's a right. And you can see they'll be tied in here. For the hopper legs, we want those to come just back past the tail like so. But yeah, aren't those cool? Don't cost you anything to make really, because you're going to throw that away as it is. And just color them up with a yellow marker, which I have right here. What's the name of this one? Canary yellow. There you go, some canary yellow alcohol marker. Yeah, they cost you nothing to make. Super quick and easy. You just tie a overhand knot up top. The little tricky part is you need to come over. Yeah, you need to come over and around and down over the outside of whatever the curve is. So like this one is a right leg because it's curving into the left. So I would come over the outside of the right and around and down like that. If you tie it the other way, then the leg will just be kicking out the other direction, or it'll be pointing upwards. So it takes a little bit of thought process to get them pointing the right direction, but I mean, if you mess it up and it's pointing the wrong way, just use it on the next fly for the other side, the other leg. So we want to tie this in right about here, and they're surprisingly durable. Like, they'll last a long time. Obviously not as durable as, say, I don't recall if they yeah, that'll work. There we go. Yeah, if anyone ever needs my email or mailing address or anything like that, it's in my doobly-doo as well. Okay, so there's one. Might actually move my camera over just a hair so we can get the whole fly in there. There we go. Okay, we'll tie in the next one. Again, you can see it's got a curve to it, so that'll be curved in this way. And I'm just going to cut these off after in case I need to make an adjustment to them. Yeah, super cool because it's just, I like finding uses for material I would have ended up tossing anyway. So this one's like an almost, besides the body being a synthetic, which it could have been a wool yarn to make it all natural. You can tie these with all natural materials and have a really cool, buggy get out grasshopper. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Big old grasshopper legs coming out there. Now you can see why I did some prep today, because I didn't want you guys waiting around. I used to do that. I got a little tiny one that I'd take all over with me. It really sucked to tie on, but it's super portable. Actually, I've used lots of odd things as vices in the past too when I didn't have one. Electric drill actually works surprisingly well as a vise. So if you have an electric drill with like a battery. Yeah, good luck, Valhalla. Give your dad best for me. But yeah, if you have an electric drill with like a battery pack, even if the battery pack's dead, doesn't matter because you're not spinning it. Although you could technically make a rotary vise out of it. But you just want to put your hook in there, screw the chuck down, and it'll hold your hook in. It works surprisingly well. And most people have electric drill of some type kicking around. Or you get them cheap or broken because you don't care if it turns. And you got an extra vise. Okay, I did get too much. Well, I ended up getting quite a bit of thread up front when I was trying to keep it clear, but that's okay. We'll make do. It's just going to be a bit annoying to try and spin the hair there. But we'll make it work. Those legs look really good. I'm happy with them. Just going to bend them in a little bit. There we go. Alright, so our next part is going to be our underwing, which in this case is going to be a really kind of dirty straw yellow. I think I might have a little much here too. I might have to separate that. 1 second. Got it pre-cut and semi-stacked. There we go. Really? That's always good when you can get like a good deal like that online and get like a whole load, like a lot of stuff, because that's where you get the good deals typically. Okay, so this is probably twice as much as I need, so I'm gonna half this down. This is just for the underwing. I did have this stacked, but honestly it doesn't matter so much. You just don't want it to have it crazy all over the place. This is just to hold up the main wing. So we want to have it about 1/8 of a pencil. So you guys can get that there. And we want to have it coming back just before the butt. So right here. Gonna do a soft wrap to hold it in. I'm gonna try and keep it up on top here. And do a couple more soft wraps. Dog streaming again on the bed. I think he chases more stuff in his sleep than he does in real life. Okay, so I'm going to cut this back on an angle here. I don't have this tied off very well at all, so I've got to be careful with it. But I just want to cut it back on an angle. There we go. Just like that. Now we can bind those. Bind those down. My head's really creeping forward. I don't want it to do that, but it is what it is. We're going to have to deal with it. Cool. Well, tell him I'll say hi then. He does a YouTube thing, tell him to stop in. Alright, so that's our overwing. Just some messy deer hair. That's the underwing for the messy deer hair. So for the overwing, it traditionally calls for mottled oak turkey quill, which I do have, but I also have this wonderful, really kind of yellowy orange dyed mallard, which is supposed to be a wood duck, but it's a mallard. But in any case, I got the medical tape on there. You can see I've trimmed it. I left this one half done just so you guys can see the process. You can just stick it to the tape, trim around it, and then you end up with a wing like this. And to me, like our hoppers that we have here, they have wings that look like this. Like their wing cases are very heavily mottled like this, and they look just like that. So that's why I'm using this over the turkey quill. If your hoppers look different elsewhere, then feel free to use really any feather you got kicking around. And then you can see on the back here, it's the tape. And we just trimmed this out and tinted it over. So it literally just cut it out in that shape. Left a little peak on the top. Folded it in half. And that's going to get tinted out over top of that underwing. Like so. But yeah, for me, this is like a perfect representation of the hopper's wings here. They look like this. They're that kind of dark yellowy speckled mess. And I'm just trying to line it up with the wings and the legs and everything. We want that to end shorter than I got it there, so let me back it up a bit. And this will be incredibly durable with the tape. It's surprising how long these will last for. We want it to end kind of just after the butt section sticks out. Oh, okay. Yeah, you definitely want to clean them and cure them properly, because nothing's worse than having some stinky material that you got to work with. Okay, I'm just going to do a soft wrap there. I'm just going to go for a couple, and then check and make sure I got it where I want it. There we go. Isn't that a cool wing case? To me, that looks just like the hoppers we have here. They all have that like segregated, splotted, heavy dark wings like that. And of course, hoppers have like a dual set of wings, so they have like the outer wings and then the underwings. The underwings are lighter, hence the underwing under there, the deer hair, is really just going to keep this tinted and help with the flotation a bit. But yeah, buggy little bugger. Happy with that. Okay, so we'll do a couple more wraps to hold that in here, and I'll cut that off. Really glad I prepped this today, because not that it's annoying or hard or anything to do this stuff, it's just time consuming to cut up the feathers and color them and wait for the marker to dry so it doesn't get all over your fingers. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So like you can do the turkey quills for sure, but they're not. Oh, good. You can definitely do the turkey quill. That was the original feather that he used in the pattern, and it does look good. Be the same feather that's used on a muddler minnow. So, and if you have some, it's also really hard to come by. So it's kind of a special feather, right? So I don't want to use it up on a hopper necessarily when I have something that looks and works as well, if not better. I'm just going to get everything in place now before I do that front part. I got one or two hairs that are bouncing out of the way for me. Easier to adjust it now than when we get the deer hair spinning on the front, so that'll cover up everything. But you can see like this one hair here, not a big deal whatsoever. We'll just tuck it back in. But yeah, pretty involved pattern, but I mean when it's done, it's really cool. The other nice thing is it floats like a cork, and the trout will just murder it. They'll hit it real hard because they know that it's trying to get away or whatever, right? So the takes on these can be pretty fun. Okay, so the next part is the deer hair front. I'm gonna have to think of a slightly different way to do this because I'm not gonna be able to spin on that much wax thread. And that was just my fault. I just kept letting it slide ahead. Should have left more room there. But we want to use a nice light. Which one's lighter here? This one's probably my lightest. Yeah, that one's a bit darker. There's a nice white bucktail. I'm not going to use the Appalachia bucktail in this for this one. It is a little bit lighter, but in this case, I'm going to have to tie this around in several batches. So I'm going to get out a little more than normal. I'm going to try and spin it, but I'm expecting I'll have to do this in like stages. Alright, so that's what we're using, just this nice straw color. It goes really well with the fly. Yeah, I'm going to cut off a good chunk of this, probably a full pencil width, because we're going to clean it out, and I'm going to attempt to spin it, but I'm assuming I'm going to have to do it in pieces here, because I went a little overboard. That's okay, we'll make do and conquer. This is really just to create a head anyway. So I don't need a whole lot, but this is pretty dirty stuff, so I'm just going to clean it out here. Yeah, there's a lot of fluff in this one. Just give me a moment, guys. Fingers are all stained yellow from the yellow marker from earlier. Just realized I got it. I was trying not to get it on my fingers, but you always end up doing that. Probably the easiest way to do it is actually just put it on some cardstock and then color it on the cardstock. But I was hanging on to it with some hemostats, which helped. Hey Yoshi, good to have you in, man. Yeah, filthy fluff. It's a dirty. Alright, let's get that stacked up. And I'm going to try a couple little tricks here to see if I can just make this work. But normally, if you have the empty shank there, which I really should have just spent more effort keeping it empty, you can just spin this like you would a muddler head. It's basically all we're creating. And the rest of the body went so well, I'll be upset if this part doesn't doesn't go as well. Because the rest of the fly is looking awesome. Yoshi in the house! Just fixing one thing on the stream here. I'll be right with you guys. Good. I'm glad Dad's doing better. Do what you can. Take care of him, of course. Alright, so there we go. I got a few stragglers coming out there, but we'll clean that up. Hey, getting pretty good at that, fella. Okay, so I don't need a whole lot. I want to cover like just this front part here, and then this should spin down there. So I'm going to attempt and spin it, and we'll see how far we get. It's going to be a mess because this is really, really long. I should probably pre-cut this a bit here. Why don't we do that? That's way more than I need, and it's just going to start to catch on everything. 1 second. Just going to stick it back in my stacker so it doesn't get everywhere. So I might need a little bit more to clean up that, to do a second round on the head there. Yeah, I mean, like I got a little bit of kind of somewhat clean shank right here, but I mean, there's not a lot. I'd much rather have about 2 or 3 times that. But we're gonna find out. Ugh, dropped it. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect because it is just a hopper head. I always try. You bet. This is a Dave's hopper. So I'm just gonna get this in here. Just like that. And I'm gonna pinch it all the way around. We're gonna do a soft wrap. If I can manage it, come on. My thumb's kind of in the wrong position, sadly. Okay, I can see if I can feel where the head is. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, it's one of those all or nothing moments. So I got 2 wraps on there loose. Now I'm going to do a 3rd and a 4th wrap, and hopefully it'll spin and tighten. But we'll see how it goes. Ready? Yeah, that's not too bad. That could have went a lot worse. It did actually spin okay. Beauty, okay. Some fibers here went a little long. Yeah, you do need 3 hands for this kind of thing. Okay, so I'm gonna pack it back. And like I said, this should have been a little back more. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty good. I'm not sure if my where'd my bodkin go? There it is. I'm not sure if my half-hitch tool is big enough to actually get over top of the eye or not. We'll see here. Where are you, Mr. Eyeball? Oh, there you are. Yeah, that went better than I thought it was going to be honest, just because I didn't leave nearly as much room there as I should have. Okay, let's get a... Looking for the pen I use for my stacker pusher, but it is not here. This thing works pretty good too. It's just like a rubber rubber tip for a pen. You too. Thanks for stopping in. My pleasure, mate. I'll try. Oh wow. See ya, E-Wise. Good luck, mate. I'll see you tomorrow. Just trying to wiggle this through without making too much of a mess here, if I can manage it. We'll get to trimming this in a second here once I can tie this off. Yeah, I guess it's getting late for you guys already. Okay. There, I got it up, so now I just gotta get this half hitch slid in underneath there and we should be good to go. Trying to keep as much of that deer hair on there as I can. There we go. That turned out pretty good. Yeah. Oh no. Oh, I did get 2 half hitches on there, so hopefully they're gonna hold. I slipped and cut the thread. The problem is you're always trying to put like as much tension as you can, but just enough not to break the thread. Yeah, it's yeah, you're right, 330. You got her. Okay, we're gonna fix this. Hopefully. Okay, that's actually a really nice eye sticking out. That's almost perfect. I just need to get my thread back on there and secure this. Again, another one of those, you need 3 arms. Yeah, it's just gonna be hard for me to hold this and tension the thread at the same time. I might end up losing a couple pieces of deer hair getting this back in, but I think we'll get it. That's a steal. You know how much more flies I could tie with a 3rd arm? There we go. Okay, that actually went pretty well. Ironically, it broke like right when I was gonna do all my half hitching and everything. But I did get 2 or 3 good half hitches in there before it broke, so we should be just fine. Yeah, Good night, Weeman, and Ewaz is already gone, but appreciate you guys sticking around for a bit. And I did keep that extra bit of deer hair if I needed to do one extra pack on this. I just don't have the shank room, obviously, here to do it. Stop clinging to my thread. Stop it. Yeah, I bet Maddie's got it more than a couple vices, that's for sure. I think I'm up to 14 or 15. There we go. That's actually coming in there rather nice. I think we got it. I got it. Yeah, like I would normally use. I had it here. I don't know where it ended up. I just use an old Bic pen. Here's part of it. Yeah, I just use an old Bic pen that I melted with a lighter to smooth out this end, and you can use that to, you know, do your thing like this. But it seems to be going okay. This thing works really well too, just because it's really flexible and it tapers down, so you can have this over keeping your wings down, that kind of thing. It's handy for all sorts of stuff. Okay. Okay, I'm definitely gonna throw a couple of these on there. Regals are nice. I mean, they've been making them for, what, over 50 years or something? Well, probably longer than that. I think they started making them in 49, so that would be 70 years, I guess. I'm half thinking that I'm just gonna stick with those half hitches instead of going for a whip finish on it. I don't want to make the head too much thicker than that. That's pretty much perfect. And then I can start trimming it. Okay, let's get to trimming this guy. I think I might actually just put a dab of head cement on there, and then we'll just wait a minute for it to dry. Just because I did break my threads, so I'm not 100% sure I got everything. Probably did, but just to be on the safe side, let's just hit that with a little bit of head cement. Please, sir, can I have some more? No, get back to the vise. Thank you. It'll look even better once I trim the head up. That's exactly what I wanted the head to look like. You want it to be a little bit lighter on the top and thick on the bottom. I wasn't quite sure that that would spin as nice as it did when we started, but it did, so yay. Yeah, sometimes you get envious of the East Coasters that get to go and or the over the pond coasters. I get to have a nap. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna start off with it being kind of on the big side, and then I'm gonna trim down. Thank you. Yeah, the wing looks really good. Yeah, it just doesn't want to bite. Hmm. Why you not bite the fur? Yeah, kind of. Just gotta make sure you get the right building permits, and you're all fine. Man, what is with this? It's friggin' sharp. I don't know why it's not popping the fares. Yeah, you want to let the blade do the work. You're not really pushing, you're just letting the friction do the cutting. And again, this is a grasshopper. We're not trying to make a huge head on this, so I want to stop. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. No, not really. I mean, I've only cut or used it to tie maybe, I don't know, not even a dozen flies yet, so. But it sure is cutting like an old blade, ain't it? But I tested on my finger here and it sure feels sharp, so. It's popping the hairs, just not popping them just as nice as I'd like to. Yeah, it's freaking sharp. That's okay. We'll make do. Is what it is. It's one of those things you just got to take your time a little bit on. One little slip and it'll be bold and look oogly. And we don't want oogly. We want purty. Hey, is that David? Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, they do actually work with their. One thing I would commonly do with them when I was doing a lot of muddlers is just take my. Maybe I'll do that actually. It might actually help. Because this is aluminum, so it's obviously way softer than steel, and just using it as like a varnisher um, to get rid of the any burrs that would be in it. I can actually feel a good amount of burrs in it. Maybe part of my problem. You're using it almost like a strop because the aluminum is much, much more softer. And it will take the burr off, but it'll also take the really ridiculously sharp edge and any of the burrs, the hairs will catch on the burrs, and I can definitely feel them. And it will give you kind of a better experience. Not necessarily sharper, it's just more consistent. Because I can't sharpen. I'm using it similar to how I would use a strop, but yeah, that's true. They're fun. I want to do up some mice and stuff because I got some really nice, um, like premium deer. Okay, we'll try that. We'll try that and see if that cuts it a little better. Oh yeah, that's much better. Now they're popping good. There we go. Whew, almost too good. Gotta be careful there. So I just want to leave a little bit of that. I want to stop when I get to that. I'm in Canada. We got lots of Canucky stand pesos here. There we go. Okay, that's actually really good. I like it thinner on the top because, of course, they don't have legs or anything on the top, but might actually just take these top ones right out, like so. There we go. Okay, now I'm gonna trim that up just because this blade's acting weird. I'm gonna do the final trimming with the scissors. Yeah, they all got the king on them now. All the new ones, anyway. It's gonna kind of a weird change because I'm so used to seeing the queen on everything. Yeah, we don't want a big, like we don't want a big head on this like a muddler would have. We want like this. We want a little stubby head that is kind of very obviously not segmented, but like there's a very obvious ledge to it, just like a grasshopper would have. They have it almost like, oh, well, we've always had animals on our coins. We've always had animals on our money, so it's nothing really new. And then we always come out with like lots and lots of different centennial coins and that sort of thing, but I can't think of any money we have that doesn't have at least some of the royalty on it in some form. Again, we're just gonna cut this down just a little bit on either side. It's just a little too leggy on the top for me. Yeah, basically every money has its animal and then its figurehead. That was sharp. Ouch. Dang. Don't do that. That hurts. There we go. Okay. That's kind of exactly how I want it. I want a nice throaty look to it, but a nice flat rounded. Um, Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. Rob Green, yeah, come in anytime, man. Thank you for that, Rob. It really does mean a lot to me. Ha, yeah, I know. Whenever we go to America Land, they treat it like Mexican money if we try and give them any Canadian. Like, what is this? But it's weird up here in Canada. Like, gobs of we'll have gobs of American money in our change all the time, and like no one even bats an eye at it. But yeah, the other way around, nope. Just getting some of these loose guys out. There's a couple like longer ones in the bottom here. I'm kind of like humming and hawing on whether I should pop them out or not. I kind of like them, but the same token, they're a bit on the long side. But it's a nice. There you go. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that. So that's a Dave's hopper all done up. Yeah, it is a like I said, it's a full-on whole sort of all sorts of stuff. It's got under hackle, over hackle, underwing, overwing. deer hair head. But yeah, I like to have the head just like that, so it's got a little bit of a bit of an angle to it. So when you're popping this, it'll go under and back up. And that's kind of how they try to get out of the water as well. They're trying to kick and push. So these these hackle wings will drag and make all sorts of crazy stuff in the water. So yeah, there you go, guys. That's probably not the most you know intricate pattern I have, but definitely one of them. Oh yeah, it definitely has. It's got my heart in it. All right, just gonna let it sit for a second here, and then I'll do my spin and spiel. Yeah, isn't that cool, grasshopper, Annie?
Very nice. That's cool.
He's buggy. Yeah, he turned out really good. I was a little worried about the head being able to spin like that, but everything is where I want it. So yeah, happy with that one. Okay, gonna do my little spin and spiel here, and we'll get moving on. Um, it doesn't look like it's pushing me out at all on the YouTubes. I just noticed my stats here. Just let me refresh it. Yeah, it's gonna float like a boat for sure. Huh. Okay. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not pushing me out to the live feeds for some reason. It's only showing 37 views, but I mean, that's all. That's probably you guys. So I'm not sure if that's just wrong or what it's doing here. I got 10 likes now, and yeah, only 37. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, I bet bass would go nuts for top water stuff like that for sure. They were like little piggies. That's like a floating cheeseburger right there. All right, so I'm gonna do a little spin and spiel on this one. Again, that was Dave Whitlock was the one who originally tied this one. Given the type of fly it is, I'm assuming it was probably like 40s. Let's get you straight in the vise again here, mister. Get you ready for your close-up. Such a cool pattern though, like really is. And in the vise today we have a Dave's Hopper. This was originally tied by Dave Whitlock. This is tied on a size 6 long shank Aberdeen hook with a black nickel finish to it. We have a nice red shuck tail out the back that's red dyed deer body hair. We have some yellow antron wrapped all the way up the body, chased with some um, red clipped hackle all the way up, spiraled up the body. Underneath the wing, we have an underwing of yellow deer hair, deer body hair, and an overwing of taped tented wing of wood duck quill or wood duck breast feather. You can also use a turkey quill there. Just really like the color and the patternation on the wood duck. Just looks a lot like the hoppers we have in this area. The cool little legs are tied off with two hackle fiber or hackle, uh, basically two bases of two hackles, and then they're tied in a knot to make a little angle and the knee joint basically on the back. And the front is tied up with some white-tailed deer for the beard and a little bit of a spun head for the head pattern in the front there. Wonderful little pattern, a whole lot of fun to fish and intricately tied, but also a lot of fun to tie. This one takes a lot of preparation for all the little parts and whatnot, but it's well worth it. You should definitely have a couple of these in your box. Wonderful little pattern, good little midsummer top water popper. Thank you kindly. Add a couple to your box, eh? Okay, should be back. Yeah, where was that now? It was in Michigan, was it? My wife told me about it right after Devon. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's just not feeding me out here or not, because it doesn't look like I'm getting any views on the stream, which is weird. I mean, obviously all you guys are here, because it's only showing me like 6 people in the stream, and I think we even got more than that. Was it? Okay. Oh, good point. Maybe it was. Who knows? Yep, you guys have the best meteors, the most fabulous meteors. 6 foot meter. That would make like a stupid crater size, wouldn't it? Like anything the size of like a car is gonna, if it makes it through the atmosphere, is gonna cause a lot of damage. Thanks, Luca. I think I might just need to reset it here, to be honest. It does that everything. Well, it must have just hit out in the bush somewhere then, eh? Yeah, you get an insurance claim. I'm not sure if they consider that an act of God or not. I'm not sure if anyone's ever had their vehicles hit by a meteor. I'm sure it's probably happened at some point. Really? Oh, okay. So it did airburst. I was gonna say like very few of them will actually come in and survive the atmosphere coming in. Like even something the size of a football, if it hits, is gonna make a good sized crater. We had one come right over top of Vancouver. They don't even know where it hit, but they were able to triangulate it a bit into the coastal mountains. But it lit up like you can see all the security cameras in Vancouver, and it just lit the whole city up when it flew by. But it was quite a bit higher than the city, like I don't know, 20,000 feet or 30,000 feet, something like that. And then smacked into the mountains. Oh yeah, for sure if you can find it. Huh. Yeah, and that's when the other one was like 6 in the morning or something like that. 6 or 7 in the morning. Wonder if we're coming up to like more of like a meteor shower period then if this is happening a little more often. That's a cool buggy little fly though. I like him. Yeah, I'm sure they want to try to. Hey, Gills and Thrills is back. Good to have you, man. Here, Gills, let's throw you a moderator here. You've been coming in for a bit. Yeah, like I was saying, there's a lot of modifications you can make if you got some more modern synthetics. Um, but yeah, you could use. Like here, I got. Let me get my stuff moved out of the way here. When I first started tying this is what I used. For the body is just this yellow chenille. This is an old vintage chenille. But if you got any chenille in that color, that'll work fine. You can even go like, again, depending on where you are, you can go to like a more yellow chenille that's more like a pumpkin color. And then you can even go the opposite direction and go more into like a tan khaki color. Um, if you go on the lighter side, you can always get a Sharpie and just make a little marks on it. Cool. Mallard and turkey are so useful. You can use them for so much stuff. Yeah, grad skills. You've been popping in, man. I don't mind making you a mod here, and then you can connect with everyone else, eh? I might have to redo the stream here. I don't think it's only showing I got 3 people on, and clearly we got more than 3 people in. So weird. Coyote is really handy. You can use Coyote almost like interchangeably for Squirrel. So if you're doing like an underwing like this, you can use the Coyote for the underwing. That'll work just fine. And really, any underwing is really just there to help support the wing itself and give it that shape. So you get that nice tented, puffed out shape like that. And it adds a little bit of flotation as well. Um, Beaver you can use, obviously, it makes a wonderful dubbing. So you could use it in place of muskrat for like an Adams dry fly. I'm wondering, yeah. I'm wondering because I went over. I don't normally go over 4 hours, but since I did last night, I wonder if that's why they're knocking me down. Yeah, and it's weird. It just shows 3 people. Now it only shows 4 people. It's like I'm talking to more 4 people. YouTube. There's got to be more than 4 people in here. Plus, I have it running myself, like on my other account. I always have it up just to make sure if there's any, errors or whatever. I have it running on my second account just to see the stream and make sure everything's working properly. So I know like there's at least 2 of me. Mm. And I can just count the little dudes on the bottom of our screen, and we know like we have at least that many people. Yeah, just weird. I might actually reset it, take a break, and do dinner and stuff, and then come back and do another one because I'll have to prep all this material out. Yeah, I'm not too worried about the stats. I am trying to get my watch time up though. I'm so close. I'm like this is the third time I've gotten to 3,800 for watch hours. So I only need like 200 more watch hours. And it's like I've gotten there several times now where I get to about 3,800 and then it's like did it did it did it did it did it did it and it's like oh come on man just jump over the loop. Yeah, I know. Like everyone's here. I don't know. It's all good. Like I said I'm not too worried about the true. Yeah, sometimes it's like if I'm on at a weird time when there's no one else on, and sometimes it'll throw me out to a whole bunch of new people, which is cool. I do get a lot of you guys are a little long. I do get a lot of viewers from like Russia and India too, which is cool. But yeah, I think I'll actually take a break here and get some foods, and then I'll prep some. I like to get at least one or two more of these guys done because they're really cool. But I'll find some more hackles, cut them up. No worries, Yoshi. No worries, guys. I'm glad you enjoyed the fly. Like I said, it's a fun little tie. I'm just gonna take a break here. I'll get some food and get some more firewood and a few other things done up here, and then I'll prep it up. I think we're gonna stick with this pattern though. Everyone seemed to like this, so we'll just do another one after. Unless I change my mind, though, we'll do something totally different. No worries. Yeah, I think it's that time for a lot of us, so gonna have a little break here. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. I had a good time. It was a good fly. Everything turned out well. Oh yeah, Rob, you gotta let me know when you stream. I've missed the last couple, and I feel horrible about that. So make sure you post on your community page if you're gonna stream, so I can catch it out. Hopefully, it won't be working. Okay. Yeah. See you later, all. Thanks for stopping in. Always a pleasure. I appreciate.